Hey guys, and welcome back to Regretsit. Brexit England, Northern Ireland, and Eastern Europe. And you should call me Lethal B because I say pow! You don't know about me. I told you Boris Johnson has done over 100 years worth of damage to this once great nation. The economy has stopped. The UK economy has stopped. The UK economy has stopped. No growth. Nada. Zero growth. The UK economy has stopped working. Boris Johnson has fucked it up. Now, do you think that Jeremy Corbyn would have had the UK economy stop working, no growth, or after just, basically 2 years, have a look into him to see whether or not he is competent to be the leader? Do you think that would have happened to Jeremy Corbyn? No, it wouldn't have. Our UK economy once, well, I wonder if we're still the fifth largest economy in the world now, because I'm telling you that's gone from ages ago anyway. Right, it's just it's all paper money what they're talking about. It will be on paper. Whatever they're talking about would all be on paper, because as none of us feel the effects, right, of this rich economy that we're supposed to be in. Because if we was the fifth richest family in this country, right, then surely we would expect to be like driving big, massive, fancy cars, right, and living in big fuck off houses, right, going on 8 holidays a year. Right, if we was the fifth richest family in this country, so how comes, right, as supposed to be the fifth largest economy, because that's not the fifth richest, because they always get that, they always just throw that in there, fifth largest economy, right? That means shit, right? Fifth richest would be right. Fifth largest economy, right, just means that you got a lot of money going through, right? But only if you could have a shop, right, and have £10,000 a day going through there, right? But only £150 of that is yours. So then they say, well, yeah, he takes like 10 grand a day, right? And the owner of the shops, they're like, yeah, I take 10 grand a day for it. And the £150 is mine. Do you know what I mean? Once I've taken out my cost to get to work, do you know what I mean? It leaves me with 120 bloody quid a day. I mean, that's how the shopkeepers going, because he's just juggling. Right, but our economy has zero growth. The only economy doing worse than ours is Russia. And why is that? Because they're bombing the hell out of their next door neighbour, and they've been sanctioned the whole world over, right? And even the Russians, right, are still close to us. The Russians are just behind us. It's just behind us, right? Just in second to last place. That's where we are. The Russians. I wonder if that means, right, that Yemen economy is growing faster than ours. Because, I mean, ours is, I don't know if it's the G7, the G26, or whatever the hell they want to call it, right? Or if it's every country in the world that we've got the worst growth. Because that would put us behind Afghanistan. And we bombed the hell out of there for 20 motherfucking years, right? Boris Johnson has destroyed this country. He's done over 100 years worth of damage to this country, and I wish that all them right-wing fools would listen. But you know something? Me, right, I'm laughing at you because this serves you motherfuckers right. Right? You see, something, right? Most of Jeremy Corbyn supporters, I would say, are more than likely people, right, who can get through this period. It might be a little bit harder, but can get through this period, right? But I don't think, right, that a lot of the people that have voted for Boris Johnson is ever going to be able to get through this period, right? And now Boris Johnson has really destroyed the economy. He has smashed it to pieces, right? I told you that he's lost control of the economy a long time ago, right? Because I'm not an economist, right? And I've seen this from a long time ago, right? From the long time ago, right? I've seen this shit. Right? I'm saying this shit. from a long time ago, right? And I'm laughing so much, yeah, because you know something. This serves every one of you motherfucking right wing fools, right? You know, and I'm so pleased for you that your man's doing so well and he stopped the UK economy, once the fifth largest economy in the world. And it serves you racist motherfuckers right. And this is by any means necessary. That's all wrong. Should be saying, welcome back to By Any Means Necessary. Thank you for all your messages you sent me, and a special thanks here to everybody who signed up to my channel. I feel so blessed with everybody that signed up, so thank you so much for that. I'll go through all the messages, I'll answer as many as I can, but I will like all the messages for definite. And if we just like cut that little piece out, yeah, so don't watch that. I don't know if you've seen the new Jurassic Park movie that's cut this out. I think it's out tomorrow, right? The thing looks absolutely fantastic, right? You know, I've been impressed, right, with the first Jurassic Park right through, right, and this last one just looks off the hook. It looks really, really good. You know what I mean? You know what Spielberg is like. You know, because this is the last one now, and when Spielberg says it done, then it done. Just like what he done, yeah, with Back to the Future. And we said, you know what, we could have had another 2 or 3 of those, right, Back to the Future. But you know what, all 3 of those was just fantastic as well, right? So anything, you know what Spielberg's like, yeah? The man's mind is just so twisted and just different, right? But I'll tell you this, right? A lot of the shit that's going on in this country, right, Spielberg would be like, no, it's a bit too much fiction for me. Parties when you've told people to be locked. No, come on, it's too much fiction for me. Right, what? And Wine Time Friday? Come on, ABBA, come on, be serious. That would be too much fiction, right? Even for Spielberg, right? The man who brought you the Jurassic Park 5 movies now, because it was 4, right? But each and every one of them I really enjoyed, and I've just thought it was just like the way how he brought those dinosaurs to life has just been amazing, absolutely amazing. And a 10-year-old girl addressed politicians in the USA yesterday to explain. You know, she was from the school in Uvalde. She's either 10 or 11, and she addressed them to tell them, you know, what happened in the school, and you know how they was making phone calls, and how this small child, you know, had to smear blood over herself, right? To fool the gunman into believing that she was dead, you know. So she was lying there amongst, you know, dead bodies, and obviously, I don't think you're going to get anything more frightening, you know, that, you know, as a 10-year-old, than something like that, you know. And you just look at that and think, well, this little girl was in school. She was in school, and she's not in a, you know, she's not in a war zone. She's in the place, yeah, but she's supposed to be the second most secure place in her life. You know, that place there, that's what it's supposed to be. Second most secure place in her life, right? For her, you know, for her life, for her age, what she is, right? It's not a war zone, right? She shouldn't be, you know, she shouldn't be greeted by weapons of war. But at least we can say, you know what, the Americans, you know, they've got their foot on it, right? You know, they brought out a new law now that you've got to be over 21 to own an AR-15. I said, well, really? It's over 21 then? Okay, well that should make some difference. But considering the man the other day who went and murdered people with an AR-15, yeah, was nearly 70 years old, right? I think that you need to raise the age. Right? If you heard the testimony of this little girl, right, and then you think to yourself that there are Republican senators, right, and a few Democrats, right, that are going to vote against, right, banning weapons of war, right, you say, well, you know, I mean, even, you know, for me, even a revolver is bad enough. Yeah, but you know, at least, you know, revolvers, like most of them is like 6 shots, so you have to reload. You know, so you know your killing spree would be a lot less. You can still kill a lot of people, but your killing spree would be a lot less. But when you're issuing people with weapons, right, that can fire rapid bullets, rapid, and you allow them to have those type of weapons, you know, I don't know what you're. I still don't know what the fuck you're thinking. I have no clue what you're thinking, right? And even when you've got little children, little girls, right, you know, addressing Congress or the Senate, right, you still will be arguing against gun control. And see that, you know, we as the British, and I can speak for most of us over here now, we don't understand that shit. We have no fucking clue what the fuck goes through your motherfucking stupid ass minds that makes an 11 or 10-year-old girl go and address your politicians, right? After being in one of the most horrific attacks the USA has ever seen, but yet for all they will still say, you know, we want our guns. You can't take our guns. We need these guns. We need more guns. We need guns, guns, guns. Strange though, isn't it? Because like, I mean, you know, a few years ago, yeah, you know, obviously, because you know a lot of the rap artists, they just use like, you know, provocative and profound lyrics. And a lot of them speak about guns within their lyrics. A few years ago, one of them got like, you know, a congressional hearing. And you think, how the hell are you going to get a congressional hearing, right, for saying gun in your lyrics, right? And the gun manufacturers are just there going like, look at that, he said gun in his lyrics. And look, we give people the death weapons, right? And he just says it. It's like, God damn, it's good having this amount of privilege. Because, you know, there's, you know, because, I mean, you can't tell me that that's right. That, you know, the gun manufacturers, right, can put the weapons of death on the streets, right? And a black rap artist says gun in his lyrics and he gets a congressional hearing. You know, there's no way they could ban guns. Right? Because remember back in the, I think it was back, must have been back in the 80s or something like that, yeah, where the Panthers, right, decided they was arming themselves. That would be the Black Panthers, not actual Panthers, like the actual feline, like the Black Panthers, you know, right? The Panthers, right, decided they was going to carry guns, and if you see how quick Reagan wanted to bring in legislation to ban guns. Once all the blacks had guns, they was like, like no, this just gotta go. But I don't actually know what happened there. But I just vaguely remember the story. You know, I just vaguely remember. But that's one time I remember that they really went to ban guns because, you know what, they was just like, blacks have got guns too. Ooh. Leveling up. I killed myself. Just leveling. That's what that. Now that shit would be really leveling. Yeah, it would be leveling up. A crazy fool in Germany has driven his car into a load of people, killing one person. Right now, I say he's a crazy fool because they reckon this guy actually has mental health problems, right? And he's driven his car. A Clio. You think, stuff? Come on, man. If he was serious and he was going to do something like this, right, he wouldn't choose a bloody Clio, right? But a Clio, right, and he mows along the fucking pavement, right, and it just so happened that there happened to be a load of school children who was like on a day out, right, from a small village on a day out in the capital, and he mowed for a lot of them, killing their teacher, and then I think knocked over a few more people, went across the road, and then drove into a shop, and I think then I think he got out and he must have tried to run, but a whole heap of people must have grabbed him up. I hope they put some good kicks and some good punches into his crazy ass. Even though he's crazy, right, he still deserves some good kick and some good punches until the police get there to save him, right, from the crowd of people, right? But yeah, so you know, these crazy shit that's happened all over the place. But you know, it's just a blessing that so much that more people wasn't actually murdered by this fucking fool. So let's hope they you know, well, you know, if he truly has got mental health problems, then you know, society has to obviously step in and, you know, hospitalise his ass for the next fucking 20 or 25 years to make sure that if he does ever come back out, do you know what I mean, that, you know, he's in the psychological mind to come back out and be amongst us, you know, not be able to come out and have some fucking a weapon like a car to go and drive into a lot of fucking people. The smoking age may be raised to 21 by 20. No, but 21, and by 2030, they want to stop everyone from smoking in the UK. I wonder if that means that we're going to have, like, you know, if we're going to have 20-year-olds outside the shop going, excuse me, mister. I look at him and say, what? You talking to me? Can you get a packet of fags, please? Get your own motherfucking fags. You look like you're 30 years old. Imagine that we might have we might have right 18, 19 and 20-year-olds outside the shop asking you to buy fags. I don't know, do you know what I mean? Just like, whoa. That's right. It's all change, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's all change. That's the thing. Do you know what I mean? I don't know where they're going to go with that situation. Labour, the party of the working classes, are too afraid to come out in support of the rail workers. Keir Starmer's got to, he got to tread a very fine line. Do you know what I mean? Because he don't want to get the splinters up his ass while he's sitting on that motherfucking fence. Right, Jeremy Corbyn would have been down there on the picket line with them, right? But Keir Starmer can't play that, right? Because Keir Starmer, right, needs he's got to play a game of balance, right, between the people who think to themselves, well, working class people have a right, right, to withdraw their labour, right? And if you have a vote, right, and that vote is 9-1. Right, for the people to say, you know what, we're joining a motherfucking Labour. We don't want to work for this shit no more. Right, if the people them say that and they're 9-1, right, what the fuck is the union leader supposed to do? The union leader supposed to say, no, we're not striking. No, there's no strike. The people, the workers have asked for this. This is not the union pushing it. It's 9-1. Right, that's not the union pushing it. Right, but so much people are coming out and saying, well, they're blaming the workers, right? But you see, from a long time ago, right, they've made sure and they've put a split in between the workers to make sure that we're always fighting against each other, breaking up all the unions, because the only people, right, who could be stupid enough, right, to break up, right, to want to think to yourself, you know what, unions are there to hurt us, right, are the English. The only people who could be that stupid. You cannot get more stupid than the English, and it's the right wing of the English, because they're the people who are just so thick, right? The European Court of Human Rights, they don't want it because they're not human. So why would you? If you're not human, so you wouldn't want that, would you? Really, because you're not human. So it would have no use for you, right? It doesn't matter with it doesn't matter however, right, you look at things, right, with the English, right, whatever it is to do themselves in, they will do. Right, and I don't know why. I don't understand where the attitude comes from. I don't understand why you would vote, why you can continuously vote against your own interest. I don't understand none of that behaviour. Right, I am bemused. I'm baffled. Right, as to why. Right, in this country, right, they've got glee about the breakup of the unions, and they will vote for people, right, who are supported by one. Said the other day, yeah, that it was 18 people. Was it 18 people? Or was it 26 people who gave the Conservatives 26 million? Something like that. It's one of the two. So I think it's might be 26 people who gave the Tories 18 million pounds. So those 26 people, right? How much people's interest do you think they've got? Why they're giving the Tories that money? Do you think they're giving it, right? They're giving the Tories that money because they've got thousands of people's interest? Or do you think they've just got their interest? That's why they're giving the Tories hundreds of thousands or millions of pounds? right? You know, when the unions give Labour money, right, and so much so, right, the Labour's had to distance themselves away from the unions. This is how crazy the Labour Party has got. Right? How crazy they've got. That they've had to distance themselves away from the unions in a working class country. They've had to distance themselves away from the unions. This is the mind, right, of the right wing that I don't understand. The English right wing, I don't understand that mindset. That you distance yourself away from the unions and give yourself over, right, to people who don't have your interest. Right? Because look at the state of the economy, right? This is not an economy that you can live in. You know, can you, right? The people, right? The food bank Tories, right? And the working class Tories, right? And the unemployed Tories, right? Can you live in this? Because I bet you can't. I bet you're having real problems living in this, right? You look over to the Jeremy Corbyn supporters, right? Most of those people, are, will probably be working class, but they'll probably be middle class people, middle to working class. Most of those people, right? And right, can afford to live through this to live through this period. The people who can't are the people, right, who really needed Jeremy Corbyn, especially in this sort of time now. Right, this is punishment, right? And if I was a believer, because I'm an atheist, a goddamn godless heathen, right? But if I was a believer, I would say this was punishment from above, punishment. Right, for your stupid ass vote, because you know what, you decided to vote racist instead of voting, right, for your interest. You decided, I don't like blacks, I don't like Asians, I don't like people that speak a funny language, don't want none of them over here, want to get rid of a lot of them. Send them motherfuckers to Rwanda. That's what we should do. Send the motherfuckers to Rwanda. Yeah. How's that plan going for you, by the way? How's that plan going? Right, to send them to Rwanda. That's just another thing that's just going to wind your ass up. Over the next couple of years, watch how much that winds you up now. Because now you're going to see, because now, these things is going to be very difficult for the Tories to do. Right? But, right, it's a good way of just winding your ass up. So now, the next few years, that's where you're going to be. Wound up about it. The price of filling a car is over £100 now to fill up a saloon car. Who the fuck says saloon car anymore? What's wrong with the motherfucking SUV or the Chelsea tractor? Right? No one drives no hatchback anymore. Right? We might as well go back to the motherfucking Capri though. Right? With how the shit has just gone, with how everything's just going backwards in this motherfucking shit. No wonder where the country that produced the motherfucking Allegro, right? With, right? In fact, no. Brown, beige interior, square steering wheel. Only England could come up with such a vehicle, right? And that's the reason why only England, right, could vote in Boris motherfucking Johnson, right? The ruinous, right? Right? The ruinous loser. Right? I really hope, right, that you're happy with your vote, because I'm pleased with your vote, right? Because I think this serves you motherfucking right. And now it's costing you £100 to fill up your motherfucking shit. To fill up your tank, right? £100. That's gonna be over, obviously, because when they say to you it's 100, that's probably 110, right? And just a few months ago, yeah, your car was £74 to fill up, right? Probably when Boris Johnson came into power, right, your car was £55 to fill up, and now look where the motherfuck you are, right? Filling up the shit, and every time you need to fill up the shit, you need to go to the bank, right, to ask them to extend the overdraft. And you've got choices. Yeah, you've got choices. And your choice, yeah, is to stop motherfucking driving, just like they wanted you to do all the time. Because you know what? You don't want no fucking poor people or no working class people on the road, really. Get the fuck off the road. Leave the road for fucking rich people. Because only rich people deserve to drive on the road. I think, yeah, that they brought in all these congestion charges, right? And fucking ULEZ. Right? ULEZ don't affect rich people. Rich people have just went and bought themselves fucking electric cars or hybrids. They'll put themselves a new fucking diesel car or a new motherfucking petrol car, yeah, that can just run up in the fucking zone anyway. Why do you think they're bringing all these things? Bring these things, yeah, because they want you to stop driving. They don't need you on the fucking road. You're congesting up the fucking road. Fuck off the fucking road, right? And you know something, right? And furthermore, you need to blame the fucking blacks and the brown people and the fucking immigrants. That's what you need to do, because it's all their fault why you can't drive on the road. Nothing to do with costing you a fucking £100 to fill up your motherfucking tank, and then you've got to pay fucking ULEZ and congestion charge. Nothing to do with that. And then they want a fucking king's ransom if you need to fucking park anywhere. Nothing to do with that, right? Remember, if you've got a fucking nice green car, yeah, there's a lot of places you can park for free. Right? If your car is the right spec, right, you can even drive in the congestion charge for free. Right? If your car is the right spec, right, you can drive all around London for free. Okay? How many working class and poor people can say that? Because you can't. You know why? Because you've got to pay for your shit, right? And no matter what it is, right, you've got to just pay it, because you've got no choice, right? Got to work, ain't it? So, how you going to get to work? In a car? Oh, your car's not ULEZ friendly. Shit. It's an extra fucking £12.50 a motherfucking day. Plus the £100 what it costs you to fucking fill up the car. Could be, you might fill it up once a week, or you might be one of those people who need to fill it up every 2 days. Right? Can you really afford to live under a Conservative government? Are you pissed that you didn't vote for Jeremy Corbyn? I bet you're pissed that you didn't vote for Jeremy Corbyn. Right? You know something? I'm laughing in your face. Serves you motherfuckers right. Oh dear. NHS, worst figures ever. Why is it with Boris Johnson everything is the worst ever? Right? Do you know? I was listening to a report on the radio. Right? A nurse in a hospital in Harlow was just up, and she was just like to the people, listen, there is. She said, I think there's 170 people in hospital. They said there's 90 people waiting to see the doctor, or how much of a doctors was there. He said there's 90 people waiting, and the wait is going to be 7.5 hours long. 7.5 hours. That's some long shit. Because you could take in a good couple of movies, watch a football match, right, eat popcorn, right, have a 3-course meal in that shit space of time. Right? But no, you got to sit on the fucking hard seats in the motherfucking casualty, waiting to see a fucking doctor because you got a growth on your foot. And Boris Johnson, right, was up in the House of Parliament yesterday, right, asked questions about the NHS by Keir Starmer, and talking about how the NHS is in fabulous condition, and the thousands of nurses and the doctors and everything that they've brought in, and the NHS waiting numbers is going down, the waiting times going down. So what are you fucking talking about? I don't understand how this man could just go up in the House of Parliament and just like, oh no, this is brilliant. The NHS was more doctors and nurses than we've ever had before. But the reality, right, is what they're not showing you. The same shit what's going on in Dover in the Farage garage. It's the same reality, right? You got queues of ambulances waiting to drop people off, right? So those ambulances are taken off the road for 4 or 5 hours straight because people in the back of them waiting to get into casualty. Right, not even in the hospital. Right? And the only way to get in there quick is you have to have a fucking heart attack or something like that in the back of the ambulance, and then they come out and rush your ass in. Right? But all those ambulances waiting, so all those paramedics just there, just standing up waiting, right? Because you know what? Boris Johnson has destroyed the NHS. When Boris Johnson came in, I'm sure the waiting times was like 3.5 hours or something like that, and it had been for years and years and years, and now it's more than double, right? The waiting times, right? And I say, right, are you still happy with your vote, or do you wish you voted for Jeremy Corbyn now? Worst figures ever. Everything in the NHS, right, is just fucking stuffed. Everything, right? No matter if it's cancer treatment, right? If people need you need a hip operation, don't matter. Right? Everything you need in the NHS, right? And the NHS is just sinking fast because these people have been underfunding it, right? And now, right, with the racism in this country, people don't want to come over here to work in our NHS and look after your motherfucking racist, stupid ass. No, people don't want to come over here and help. People just start, I don't got that racist island. They can fuck off. I'm sure that's what they're saying. There are 5 alleged Rwandan war criminals. And you're thinking, what, come over on the boat? Let's send their ass back to Rwanda. Oh no, these motherfuckers have been living in this country for 16 years. What? So, we're going to send them back to... You work it out. How the hell we've got Rwandan war criminals alleged living in this country, right? But then we want to go and send, right, people to Rwanda, right? When we've got Rwandan war criminals living how? I don't even know how much sense that makes, but to me that don't make no sense. That don't make no sense. It can't do. What kind of sense does that make? I know what kind of sense that makes. That makes nonsense. It's really strange though, right? Because you know that Starmer can't speak about the whole Rwanda plan because because obviously, yeah, it would, it wouldn't be a good look for him because to have to go down the line of racism and tell people it's a motherfucking racist shit. Right? That's shit. That's some racist shit. That's what Starmer would have to do, right? But Starmer can't do that. Because Starmer's got to try and balance this thin line, do you know what I mean, between like the lefties and the racists, right? Well, Starmer needs to get some of those racists, I mean, those red, our people, right? My people, right, from up north, right, who voted for the Tories, right? You people, right, are the ones who upset me the most. Right, all these years, right, you being staunch Labour, right, I never ever had any notion of you motherfuckers being a load of racist fucking asses. I never had any notion of that at all. None. Right, this would be like Nicola Sturgeon coming out, right, as a fucking racist. That is how much, right, you people have fucking let me down. Right, out of all of the fucking Brexiters, you Red Wall are the fucking worst. You are the worst kind of fucking humans, because you kept your racism, keep that racism, keep that shit in a bucket. You kept it in a box. You kept it away from us, and then when it was time, you just like, pow, strike the motherfuckers. Let them know how we really feel. Yeah, so now we've got to have Andrew Mitchell had to step up where the Labour Party should be and tell us, right, about the 5 alleged war criminals from Rwanda that are living in this country, right? The Labour Party, I don't even know if they knew about that, right? But Andrew Mitchell had to bring it up. He's a fucking Tory. And he had to bring it up to smack Boris Johnson about with it in the House of fucking Parliament. You see? Strange, don't it? Because it looks like, a lot of these Tories were turning them into socialists. That's how it seems. Especially when Boris Johnson has come up, he's coming up with a new plan. Like Thatcher's, buy your council home. Boris Johnson's coming up with now, what we're going to do is we're going to allow people on benefits to get mortgages. Yeah, you know something? I've just looked at that idea and say, no, it's not a bad idea in principle, because what it would be like, because you've got a lot of working people who get housing benefit, right? So most of them, right, can actually afford to pay a mortgage. Right. So it'd be good in that sense, but obviously they're going to work it in some other sense, and it's not going to work because it's going to end up being stupid, because it's an idea that's been brought by Boris Johnson. But people are going to look at it and say, oh, you're just trying your luck because you don't want to lose your motherfucking job. cabinet. Oh, yeah. The Prime Minister of Ireland has alluded to the Ukraine war as a warning as to what could happen over the Irish protocol. The man saying, you know what, yeah, you've seen the shit what's going on in Ukraine, and you know what it used to be like in this country. Stop fucking with the Good Friday Agreement. That's what the Irish Premier is saying. I believe he's the Taoiseach. I believe, right? But that's what he's saying, right? Stop fucking with shit. Stop it, right? Because of the Good Friday Agreement. It's something that you should have never ever got involved in, right? You haven't got the brain power in the first place, right, to have started messing with the fucking Good Friday Agreement. Though, you know, the Good Friday Agreement was written by big people, big politicians who knew what the fuck they was doing. As cabinet divisions have opened up over plans to override the Brexit Treaty and bust up international law. I tell you, if they do it, it's not going to go well for them. It's not going to go well for them at all. If they dare even think about it, it's just not going to go well for them, because obviously Liz Truss is pushing it now, yeah. But it's not going to go well for them. And you know, I forgot to say, you know, one of the lords, one of the baronesses, right, come out and said yesterday, oh, Boris Johnson is a motherfucking liability. I forgot to write this one down, but I've just remembered it, right? So she's a motherfucking liability, right? And only for her to go and get sacked by pencil neck Tin Lizzie, right? Because she obviously works in the Foreign Office, right? And she's come out and said on radio, she said Boris Johnson's a motherfucking liability, and we need to get rid of that motherfucker. Right? And then she got promptly sacked by Tin Lizzie Truss. I've been sacked by Tin Lizzie. And this week, Boris Johnson will ask the EU again to reopen negotiations. Please, can you open? And the EU would say no. In fact, nay. In fact, no. Right? That's what the EU would say. Because you know what? The EU is just like, we have the power and you have none. And in good news, Brexit news, Britain has launched its own sat-nav system after being removed from Galileo, and we say to the motherfucking EU, piss off, right? Because you know we can do shit when we get down. No, this is all serious. I mean, Britain have like launched its own sat-nav, right? Sat-nav system, so that, you know, obviously we must have still been using like the Galileo system, but obviously they're going to switch us over. It'll probably be like a intermediate switch, so we won't probably notice. You know what I mean? But yeah, so that's some good Brexit news. It just shows that we can do shit when we're ready. It's probably something that a private company's done for us, because you know we do shit. Right? So it's probably a private company, probably the Chinese. Oh God, it's probably the French or the Germans actually. You know, I'm just saying, why don't you just get them to make our flipping blue passport while you're there? Oh, actually, one of the Europeans do. There you go again. Anyway, guys, look, I've been on for this long now, right? And this one goes no further. And this, my friends, is by any means necessary. I'm the MC John Ribs. It was really nice to speak to you guys. Comments below.